Yeah, they didn't ask us. We haven't presented it there, but we've written it nonetheless. We would, if you guys wouldn't mind, if we hit
You've heard you're supposed to practice them, so it's not effort.
So please enjoy the next several minutes of the correlation of humor and context in modern American satire. Storm and I, we wanted to take a few minutes to talk to you about the creative process.
As comedians, it's something that people ask us about a lot, and as satirists, it's tied up with the idea of inappropriateness.
Something we're all amply familiar with at this point in the evening. Before we talk much about the science, we first wanted to show you an example of what we believe is empirically the saddest and least funny thing on the internet, if not anywhere. Yeah, that's right.
Soak it in, Nerdtacular.
This, of course, is the ASPCA commercial with Sarah fucking McLaughlin. Oh, look, he's only got one.
There is nothing funny about this.
There's literally nothing funny about this. Thousands were rescued, but not him.
It is not funny.
So, I'm sorry, I can't take any more. So Storm, a number of months ago, tweeted about the fact that nothing makes you run for the remote faster than when that commercial comes on your television set.
We give a lot to animal causes, but I cannot watch that commercial.
That started a conversation between the two of us about how could that commercial possibly be improved and made, you know, less wrist-cuttingly depressing, which directly led to the creation of the hashtag songs to make ASPCA commercials less depressing.
Anyone who tells you that hashtags should be short is wrong.
And, well, Internet, you took this idea and you ran with it. Here's just a couple of examples of some of the suggestions you find. You're representing the Internet here. Some of the suggestions you find people made to maybe improve the commercial a bit. Better. I'm not nearly as depressed right now.
Feeling pretty good about it.
So, here's example number 2.
Inspirational.
And this one. Okay, so all of this begs the question, what exactly is crossing the line? But let's take a step further back. What is the line? Well, let's discuss it.
All jokes exist on two axes, humor and tastelessness. If your joke's level of humor is high enough to overcome its level of tastelessness, you get a laugh. If it does not cross that threshold,
so the job of the professional comedian is to constantly monitor and step near, but not over, the line. That's the line right there.
So let's.
Well, the problem, of course, is this line it's not static. It's a moving target, and it exists across a continuum. It runs from safe to risky. Things further to the left, easier topics, things further to the right, more risky. Let's look at a few examples. All the way down on the safe end of the scale, something innocuous like airline food. Nobody is going to disagree about the shittiness of airline food. As such, you are not taking a risk, it is not very transgressive at all, and as such is just not very inherently funny.
It's also an inanimate object, which is not going to complain in any way whatsoever. So once you get into the realm of jokes about people, it gets a little riskier. That said, still pretty close to the safe end, you have things such as lawyers. And even most lawyers would probably agree, lawyer humor, okay, not so tasteless.
But as you move to specific people, for example, you can run into varying degrees of approval or disapproval of your topic. Jesus. Inherently hilarious to a certain portion of the population, completely off limits to an entire other portion of the population.
And it's not restricted to specific people. There are entire classes of people that unless you are extraordinarily confident in your judgment and a seasoned professional, you should steer clear of entirely.
And so on, and so on, and so forth. Now that we've explained the science a little bit, let's take a look at it in practice in the real world with a few examples. Let's start off relatively safe.
Yeah.
Hey, mama said the way you move, make you sweat, gonna make you groove.
Okay. Basic driver of most humor is contrast. Sad dog, rockin' song. Also, if you happen to know that the name of that song is Black Dog, there's an extra layer of humor in it for you. But all told, it's not horribly tasteless in and of itself.
And so we took a poll of the entire population. You may not remember having taken this poll, but you did. This gray area is the distribution of responses regarding this particular contrast. We analyze that data carefully and then arbitrarily decide where the song fits within it. As you can see, Black Dog, kind of funny, not very tasteless at all, very low on the graph. Let's see if we move up maybe a step or so.
Who let the dogs out? Who let the dogs out? Who let the dogs out?
All right. Basically the same joke, just a little peppier. And it illustrates also the notion of on point, that actually saying dog kind of makes it a little safer too. So that falls on the line.
It's a little funnier, it's a little more tasteless, but not that much more so than the previous example.
Still in pretty safe territory.
Yeah. Now, we talked about the continuum before. Not all of these examples are cut and dried and obvious.
Peppy. Great. Contrast, energetic, sad dog, energetic song. Also, it demonstrates the principle that 80s music is inherently funny.
So normally a song like this would fall somewhere around there, a little more tasteless,
High contrast.
but a little funnier. However, this is where you must know your audience. Because a song, an example of a humor song like this can fall prey to guilt by association, or what we call the Futurama factor. As any of you who've ever seen the Jurassic Park episode of Futurama realizes, that song takes on a whole new context.
So for many nerds, it falls on a different part of the scale entirely.
Let's continue to move further down the continuum. Posted without comment.
So the question becomes, how far up this line can you go? How tasteless without crossing?
Is there an upper limit beyond which a song choice's inherent tastelessness cannot be overcome no matter the degree of humor?
We believe we have found that point.
We do believe, after careful study and countless hours of research, and not shouting it out from the fucking audience, that we have found the upper limit. Just so. We hope that having gone through this process, you've realized a couple of things. Comedy is not easy. It is inherently dangerous and should only ever be practiced by trained professionals.
And as a final warning, we leave you with an example of what we call shitting all over the line.
Thank you very much.